Hello guys and welcome back again to the channel. I just want to elaborate more on this video by Jaycen Joshua where he talked about high-passing his pianos and guitars. Reason being that obviously you high-passing to create space for the low end, which he is known for low end. But if you have done that and then if you get to a point in the music where there's no bass and there's no kick, then your guitars and pianos will sound so thin, like as he said on the video. Just have a look on the video.
My low end is going to be my low end. The reason why it's distinctive, because there's nothing else down there but my bass and my kick, right? So then you high pass a lot of the stuff out. Let's just say a piano or guitar piano that has a super, super bassy low note, right? If you take too much of it out, obviously, example number one is that when there is no bass, fucking and secondly, you want that body, that body, that warmth at that crossover point, which is usually like 200 when I do it. It's very, very important. So sometimes, and we'll go over that technique, you want to carve it out or filter it out, but more importantly, you want to sidechain that note of that specific instrument. So when the bass is not playing, that is prevalent. That's super, super important.
So if you notice towards the end, he talked about sidechaining his low end on that music. So let me actually elaborate on this by showing you how you can also achieve this using the studio rack and any compressor you have that has got option for external sidechain. I believe Jaycen will probably use something like the Wave Factory track spacer, which is easier to do. But if you don't want to fall into the rabbit hole of buying every plugins, you can also achieve the same thing using this Wave Studio Rack, which is a free plugin. And then you can throw in any plugin that you have, compressor, obviously, that has got option for sidechain, external sidechain. So let me just show you guys what we got going on. So I've got this on all music. So I've basically sent all my guitars, the pianos, synths, and everything into this all music bus. So if you look at this guitar, for instance, let's just throw in an EQ. You see how information should go below 70 Hz and stuff, because I've not done any high pass on it. So you can see there's information below that 180 Hz where you want your kick and bass to dominate. So let's get rid of that for now. So what have we done? This guitar and other pianos, we've got a piano here as well, which if we do the same thing, you see some information down there. So the thing is, if you start high passing this, will actually sound thin, as he rightfully said. You notice without the high pass, you actually sound more round and more full. So let's get rid of the high pass. Now, what we've done is send all this to the music bus, and then I've thrown in the studio rack, which I've now put the multi-band split. So I've split this into two, which means everything below 160 Hz is on this band, and everything from 160 and above is on this. Remember, the crossover will still go up to nearly 200, as he talked about, because even though this is 160, the crossover will still cross into around 180 to 200 Hz going into this. So if you just solo that on the music, you see what it sounds like. You could see this is now very low information, but it does help this music bus sound fuller. But instead of getting rid of it, I've now thrown in Neutron 3 element. This is the element version, and I've thrown in a compressor. This is the bass. I've busted it to bus 25. Then the kick, the same thing, we've busted it to bus 25, which this bus 25 is only for trigger, because I've actually turned off the output. It's not going anywhere. It's just to trigger this compressor. You can see I've named it low sidechain. So now if you look at this, it's on bus 25. So which means this compressor listens to this bus 25 to compress. So any information that goes into here will trigger this compression. And on Neutron element, you've got this little side tab that helps you to set the sidechain to be on this. Because if you don't tick this, we'll still just compress the sound without listening to that sidechain. But with this, you now listen to this sidechain. So if I just play you the sound, you see how much it's compressing. And I've also used a small ratio because you don't want this to sound too compressed. But you set it on fast attack, fast release, so that it just pushes it down where there's kick and bass. But when there's no kick and bass, this will still sound full. There will be no compression. So let's have a listen to it. You see how much it helps that low end stay clean and help the kick and bass to actually live on that low end. So let's first listen to it all together. Then I'll bypass the kick and bass. You see how the compression will stop. You definitely notice immediately we put this on, that low end sound a lot cleaner and more focused. But when it comes in, you could see that all those sounds are fighting with the low end. So if you have listened to this on a good studio speakers or good headphone, you notice it. Let's play it again. Then I'll bypass just the kick and bass. You see how the compression will stop, which is what he meant by when you get to a point where there's no kick and bass, so that all his sound will still sound full. So as you can see, once the kick and bass is muted, the compression is not doing anything. It only compresses those low end only when there's kick and bass. So the top end is still untouched, which makes it sound a lot more clear and open. And you can also do this with something like a dynamic EQ, but I feel like this one actually gives you a lot more clarity. But if you have dynamic EQ and you don't have to go through all this rigmarole of setting up a studio rack and stuff, then you can go for that, of course. So if you found the video helpful, please give me a big thumbs up and also leave a comment down below how much you like the video. If you have any question about this process, also don't hesitate to leave me a comment down below. Please also, I'll urge you to hit that super thanks. That also help the channel. Until next time, see you guys on the next video. Bye now.